Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Afri Abundance. As you can tell by the title of the video, today I'm going to be doing two natural African hair care recipes. And I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys the first one that I'm going to do here. So the first one is going to be making a DIY African black soap shampoo. I'm going to be using my African authentic black soap. For this one, I've gone ahead and cut it into pieces, and I'm going to place it into my bowl here on my little work table here. And all I did was just cut it into pieces. So I'm going to chop them a little bit smaller. And what I've done is put a pot of water on the stove to boil. And I'm going to use the double boiler method and melt the soap down. So I'm going to go ahead and place the soap into my bowl here. And then I'm going to go on over to my kitchen and grab my pot that is boiling water. And I'm going to allow that to melt, and I will share with you guys that whole process. And I purchased these black soap bars from africaimports.com. As you guys have seen a lot of their products here on my channel, I regularly buy authentic imported African goods, beauty products from across the continent. And I'm going to put together a shampoo recipe. I will be storing it in a recycled glass jar. I prefer to use a glass jar over plastic, as I will be placing it in my refrigerator to keep it fresh. I'm not going to make a large batch that would be used for months on end. So I'm just going to make this to use for the next couple of weeks or so. So I'm going to head over to my stove and grab my pot. And I've got that here. And I'm just going to do the double boiler method and allow for it to melt down. And I'm just going to place a towel underneath here so that it can sit on my surface here without burning anything and without me burning my hands here. So you'll see me sharing with you guys the process of it melting. So if I can get my camera down here, you'll be able to see that process. So I'm going to go ahead. I have a stirring spoon here. And I'm going to mix this around and get it melted. And what you can also do that I've seen a lot of other creators here on YouTube do is pour the hot water over the soap and allow for it to melt that way. So depending on how long it takes, I may transfer the water on top of it and let it melt that way. I just don't want to create too many bubbles. So I do want for it to melt particularly. And what I'm going to be using for this recipe to assure there's going to be a lot of moisture for my hair, I'm going to be adding aloe vera gel. And this is from the Lily of the Desert brand. I'm also going to be adding one of my DIY hair oils. It's got 17 different herbs that I concocted into this recipe. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this here. And I'm going to see what will happen here if I pour some of the hot water over it, just to try to fast track this recipe so that this process doesn't take too long. So I'm going to pour some of it over and see what's going to happen here. Like I said, I don't want to create a lot of bubbles. And I think this might be a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the water over it and allow for it to melt that way. So as you see here, I've got the water in the bowl, and I'm going to allow that to melt down as I mix it. So that is a better idea. So I'm just going to pour a little bit more water over, and this is very hot water, so I'm going to move this pot back to my kitchen. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and prepare the bottle that I'm going to store it all in while it melts down. So I'm going to add all of my liquids and oils that are going to go into the shampoo. So I've got my bottle here. It does have a lid, and I'm going to add my aloe vera juice first, and I've got a measuring cup here. So I'm going to go ahead and add approximately 1 cup of aloe vera juice. And as you can see here, 1 cup is about half of this bottle. So I'm going to measure that out. So we've got 1 cup of aloe vera juice as this melts down, and it is fast tracking the melting process. So I'm glad that I decided to just go ahead and go it that way. So I'm going to pour the aloe vera juice into the jar. I've already sanitized this jar, so I'm going to slowly pour the aloe vera juice in. Okay, so I'm going to get all of the aloe vera juice in, and I'm just going to wipe some of what has spilled a little bit here. Okay, make sure I've got all of that in the jar. And as you can see, that's about how much we've got there, a little less than half. So I'm going to share what the black soap looks like right now. So it is melting down really nice. I'm going to start mashing a little bit just to get the large pieces, excuse me, broken up here. Make sure that I don't make a mess. And there are a lot of really nice recipes here on YouTube for African black soap shampoo. It is very easy. You can mix and match the recipe to whatever works for your hair type. As a 4C Afro curly hair texture, I want to make sure that I am adding lots of moisture with it. So the aloe vera juice is definitely going to be helpful. And then I also have here some oils that I'm going to use. I'm going to be using my Now Solutions vegetable glycerin, if you can see that there. So I'm going to add some of that into the aloe vera juice. Like I said, moisture is something that is key for my hair type. So I'm just going to add that in. And I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to shake this up just to get those mixed together. And the aloe vera juice and the vegetable glycerin both have kind of the same kind of slimy, thick texture. So those do mix pretty well. I'm not going to add a lot of oils to it as I don't have an emulsifier that I'm going to use to bind them together. So I'm just going to add the glycerin to the aloe vera juice. And I do have some essential oils that I'll add a few drops of. I have some eucalyptus oil. You can see that there, eucalyptus. And I also have tea tree. You see that there. So I will add those after I get the liquid from the soap into the mixture. So what I'm going to do now is strain this liquid, and then I'm going to get some more water boiling, and I'm going to start filling up my jar with the black soap. So I'm just going to strain this mixture with my strainer here, and I'm going to filter it into my measuring cup. Okay. Okay, so what I have done is sifted out the liquid, and I still have some more to dilute. So I'm just going to do the process all over again once the water has come to a boil. So I'll put it back in the bowl. And then I will take what I have here, and I'm going to add my essential oils to this mixture here. So I'll do about 5 drops of each. So I got 5 drops of eucalyptus, and then 5 drops of tea tree. I'll add those in, and then I'm just going to stir them together like so. And then carefully I'm going to add it to my aloe vera here. And as you can see, it starts to bubble up and lather. And it's not too bubbly as I was hoping it wasn't going to be. So I'm going to add it. And I'll see how much will fit into this jar. As I stated before, I'm not making a month's long supply of shampoo. This is just going to be for the next couple of washes as I get my recipe together. So as you can see here, it is almost filled. So I might not need much more to fill the top as the bubbles are going to overflow. So I'm going to go ahead and try to mix this up without shaking too much. And I may even make a larger jar. But for now, this is going to be the shampoo that I'm going to use. And I will share with you all what the lather looks like. I'm also going to go ahead and add my oil mixture, a couple of drops. So again, I'm going to let this sit and see about getting another container to add the rest of it to. However, for now, this will be a good amount for this jar size. So for my oil, I do have it in a container with a dropper. So I will add a few drops into the jar. And what I'm going to do is try to get some of these bubbles down. They are kind of subsiding. Okay. So as I stated before, this was the oil that I made with my dried herbs. And I'm going to use the one that's in the dropper. I'm going to add some of it to there. And then I'll share with you guys how the lather is. An African black soap is very moisturizing and clarifying, so this will definitely be a moisturizing and clarifying shampoo for my natural hair. So I'm just going to gently and not vigorously shake or mix it, just so that